The O. Henry Playhouse presents Marionettes. O. Henry's stories were often inspired by and based upon the people he had met during his many travels. Some came out of the West, others from distant places throughout the world, and a few were found in his own city of New York. For example, take the learned physician, Dr. Charles Spencer James. Here you see the talented doctor in the middle of a serious and delicate operation.
$2,500. Hardly seems worthwhile. We'll split it 3 ways. Now, you two go home and stay there while I clean up until you hear from me. And be careful.
Beg pardon, sir. Do you mind identifying yourself?
Not at all. I'm Dr. Charles Spencer James.
Yes, sir. You on your way to see a patient?
I'm on my way from seeing a very sick patient.
Oh, then I won't be keeping you. It's a bad night out tonight. There's a good many holdups and burglars.
Now, I'll be careful, officer. Thank you. Good night.
Good night, doctor.
Help! Help! He's sitting there like he was dead. Help us. Help us for the love of heaven.
Who's sitting there like he was dead?
Mr. Chandler, in the study. Miss Amy sent me for a doctor. Please go in and stay with her while I try to find...
Wait a minute. Doctor! Dr. James! Come back here, please. You're needed.
A doctor at your beck and call. Why, it's a miracle.
Come with me, doctor. Now stop your bawling and lead the way.
Yes, officer.
Unlike most authors, O. Henry never felt a story was ready for publication until it had passed the acid test of being told to someone he knew. And the first person to hear about the interesting Dr. Charles Spencer James was O. Henry's housekeeper, Mrs. Hall.
You mean he was a real doctor that took up safe-cracking as a sideline?
On the contrary, he was a real safecracker who was about to take up doctoring as a sideline.
But whatever did he do when he walked into that house?
Well, when he entered the house for a few minutes, I'm certain he didn't know what he was going to do. But you must remember, Doc spent his whole life living with the unexpected. So, he did something very bold. He decided to try his best to act like a doctor. And believe me, Mrs. Hall, his best was very good.
I found the doctor and the policeman. The policeman found the doctor. They were both outside.
I'm Mrs. Chandler. My husband was taken suddenly ill about 10 minutes ago.
Suddenly ill?
It's our anniversary. We were discussing it.
Suddenly I heard him moan as though he were in great pain, and his hands went to his head, and he collapsed into that chair and hasn't spoken since.
Has he ever been troubled with a seizure like this before?
Not that I know of.
Shall I call an ambulance, doctor?
Well, that won't be necessary. We'll get him into his own bed.
Well, I'll be on my way then. I'll see you next time around. Good night, doctor.
Good night.
Good night, ma'am.
I'll show you to the door, and thank you again for what you've done.
Don't thank me. Thank the fates that led Dr. James this way.
Oh.
He'd been out late. To a supper, I believe.
Miss Amy, please, darling.
Where's the room?
This way, doctor, right through here.
She's exhausted. Let her sleep. How did she get that bruise on her face?
She fell, doctor, and... No, she didn't. I won't lie again. He hit her. That devil in there in the study, he hit her. Oh, he made life so miserable for her. Took all her money. Then when it was gone on gambling, he hit her because she couldn't give him any more. The poor darling just stood there and took his abuse until all the hate and meanness caught up with him. He had his cane raised to strike her again when something snapped in his head and he fell. That's when I ran out looking for a doctor.
Let her rest. If she wakes, give her something to eat.
Oh, there's another thing, Doctor. There's nothing to eat in the house. No money to buy with. That man got everything. Jewels, rings, clothes.
Here. You'll find an all-night market on 6th Avenue. Get some bread, eggs, some meat for broth.
Can I leave her alone, Doctor?
She won't be alone.
Leaving, Doctor?
So you found your voice.
Part of it.
You hear all right?
Most of it. Comes and goes like in a tunnel.
Did you hear what your wife said?
Yes.
Did it happen like she said?
Just about. Wife and I talking. Something popped in my head. Came to in this chair with you holding my wrist.
Ever happened before?
Heart kicked up a few times. Nothing like this.
Lift your arm. Either one.
Can't move.
I'll send help.
Where's my wife?
It's late.
The money. She told you about the money?
No. What about the money?
Surprise for her. Anniversary present. 10,000. In the safe.
$10,000, you say, huh?
Yes.
What's the combination? Chandler. Chandler. Can you hear me?
Surprise?
You can pick the worst time to come to. You knew the safe was empty, didn't you?
Of course, I looked in it earlier this evening. That's what Amy, my wife, and I were discussing before you came in. You're no doctor. You're a thief. A scoundrel.
Aren't we both? I crack safes and you beat women.
Amy, think nothing of it. She loves me because of it. Besides, I know I'm a scoundrel. The point was to make sure about you being a thief. It worked out beyond my expectations. You opened that safe very professionally.
I'm an artist. But why was it necessary to prove it? Why didn't you just let me walk out?
I couldn't. You had to save my life.
How? As you say, I'm no doctor.
You're better for my purposes than a doctor. You're a burglar. You just stole $10,000 from me.
I did?
Yes. I've been losing money regularly to Rex Canby, the gambler. In order to recoup my losses, I plunged to the extent of $10,000. Canby insists on payment. I told him I had the money at home, and he sent me to get it.
Of course, you didn't have the money at home.
This is our little secret.
There's your wife. You spent the last of her money months ago.
But she won't say anything. You see, she loves me very much. Furthermore, she has too much pride.
Well, what about the maid? I gave her money for food.
I'm surprised at you, Doctor. How would a maid know the contents of my safe? No. You took the money. You must have. Here am I, unable to move. And there's the safe with a neat little hole you bored in it. Canby will be forced to believe my story. My honor as a gentleman will remain untarnished. And you, sir, will be in jail.
Yeah, perhaps you're right. Maybe Canby will believe your story. But you're wrong about one thing. My going to jail. I have no intention of being caught. I bid you au revoir, Mr. Chandler.
Doctor? Doctor? I thought I heard voices. Is my husband all right?
Your husband sustained a rather serious brain injury, Mrs. Chandler. A moment ago, he regained consciousness, and we talked for a few minutes.
Then perhaps he'd like to speak to me. Perhaps he needs me.
He doesn't need you now, Mrs. Chandler. I'm doing everything for him that can possibly be done.
Thank you, Doctor. My husband is an excitable man, so if he should be abrupt with you, just remember he doesn't really mean to be.
In my profession, Mrs. Chandler, I've become used to hearing people's anger. I try to get some sleep. I'll call you if anything happens.
You're an understanding man, Doctor. It was a blessing from above that you were so close when our need was so great. I shall be indebted to you always.
Chandler, even if he is stricken.
What you like, Doc?
I do. He's a crook, but at least he's an honest crook. Chandler's,
Well, it's a matter of comparison, Mrs. Hall. In the face of Chandler's decadence, Doc appears almost noble.
I know that, but he could have left the house.
That's right. But Doc was peculiar. I think after talking to Mrs. Chandler, he enjoyed feeling noble. And he realized, too, leaving wouldn't solve anything. Too many people could identify him as the man who had been there.
Then he was in danger.
More than he realized. When Officer Garrity checked in at the station that night, the two men who had been with Doc on the earlier job had been picked up. They were being grilled. Officer Garrity wasn't particularly interested in the two crooks being questioned until one of them began to describe the third member of the gang. And when the crook further identified his partner as being a safecracker known to the underworld and the police as Doc, Garrity realized he had allowed a prize to slip through his fingers. He hurriedly left, hoping it wasn't too late to rectify his earlier mistake.
With all the pacing you've done, if you'd walked in a straight line, you could have been miles away from this house.
I know. I'm trying to understand you. You know, for the life of me, I can't see that you bought anything but temporary relief from Canby's crowding.
I've gained time in which I can persuade my wife to raise the money.
You're a strange man, Mr. Chandler. Your honor is tarnished beyond repair by the bruises on your wife's face. And yet you sit there prattling of your cleverness, when as a result of it, you have a stroke and you can't even lift your little finger.
A temporary condition. With the care and affection my wife will lavish on me in the next few weeks, I'll soon be myself again. You've no idea of the love and affection my wife can lavish. Well, perhaps you do. I saw how you watched her when you first came in. That's when I began to suspect you were not a doctor.
That's when I began to suspect you were not a man.
And you were, of course. Just the man for such a beautiful woman. But it won't work out that way.
You sound very sure of yourself.
Why not? My wife is a lady. She remembers her marriage vows. For better or for worse, even though she might hate me, she still won't leave. A case of too much pride and too little courage.
Not at all. I think it'd take a very courageous woman to live with a man as vile as you are. A less courageous one would have left you a long time ago.
Perhaps, but as long as I tell her I need her, she'll remain at my side like a dutiful wife. It's one thing to be bored by a wife of means, but to be bored by a woman who can no longer appease her husband's need for money. Only a fool would remain under the circumstances, and I'm no fool. I shall stay with Amy until I no longer feel a need for her.
Then perhaps we can arrange that you no longer need her. It's only a matter of time before you die as a result of the stroke you suffered. On the other hand, you might linger for months, and every day bring more unhappiness and misery to the people who are forced to live with you. That doesn't seem fair or just to me. A few drops from this little bottle. Oh, I see you recognize it. Nitroglycerin. An explosive we put in the holes we drill in obstinate safe locks. And with the aid of this syringe, which will direct the nitro to exactly the place where it'll do the most good, in this case, your hearts. Well, you do have a heart, don't you?
That's murder. You can't do that to me.
I promise you, you won't feel a thing. I do this quite professionally, too.
Please don't. I'll guarantee your freedom. I won't say you robbed me.
Aside from the explosive properties of nitro, it's medicinally valuable as a violent heart stimulant. And when injected into the bloodstream, it accelerates the action of the heart to such an extent that even a jackal has the strength of a lion.
But it'll kill me.
Not at all. Your death will be the result of a stroke you suffered when you struck your wife. I was called in by her to help you.
How could you help, you thief?
I will have helped. However, I must warn you that any violent exertion on your part after I've given you the injection will hasten the reaction. For as you say, I'm a thief, not a doctor. And I can't be too sure of the amount I use. Oh. Your pulse is racing.
You're going to murder me.
No. I'm going to wait for you to kill yourself.
Do something. Anything.
Is he dead?
Yes, dear lady, he is. I did everything I could, but...
There's nothing in his death that makes me forgive the things he did while alive. But little clear pictures stand out of the years since I met him. Not exactly met him, I always knew him. A willful, headstrong boy and man. Spoiled, I suppose, by too much of everything. Then perhaps I was spoiled, too. Forgive me, Doctor. I'm keeping you from things you must do.
There's nothing now that needs to be hurried. Go ahead, talk it out. You'll feel better. Our
marriage was a mistake. A tragic mistake after the first few years. I couldn't seem to supply the strength he needed to prevent a smash-up. Maybe that I didn't love him enough. That I failed him. Failed him so pitifully that tonight in a desperate frenzy he struck me. But I would gladly take 1,000 blows if they could bring him back to life. If there were only some way we could start over again, wise, with the bitter lessons the years have brought.
That's the prayer of all of us. We look back at ourselves. We don't like what we see. You stay here. I'll take care of everything.
Thank you, Doctor. You've been very kind.
One more thing. Toward the end, your husband knew that he couldn't live. He wouldn't let me waken you, but he asked me to tell you that he put a sum of money in the safe in the library. A surprise. An anniversary present, he said. Must be a comfort to you to know that at the end, his last thoughts were of you. Hold it, Doc.
Well, it was nice of you to wait.
I didn't want to embarrass you.
Is this what you used on the feed company safe earlier this evening?
Mm-hmm.
Nitro?
Yeah.
What is it, officer?
Well, I'm not sure, ma'am, but it looks like murder.
Murder?
What the officer means is I'm not a doctor, Mrs. Chandler.
You only have to look in this bag to learn the truth of it. These are not the instruments of a doctor, ma'am. They're the tools of a burglar.
But you yourself called him a doctor.
That I did. I was fooled by his glibness and professional air into making a grievous mistake. And I'm here now to correct that. Don't waste your sympathy on him, ma'am. His name is James, all right. And in the underworld, he's known as Doc. When I met him tonight, he was coming from a burglary that he and two Confederates had just completed. Fortunately, his accomplices were captured and confessed. Not only to the mentioned burglary, but to numerous others.
I have no interest in what Mr. James may have done before I met him. I only know that his kindness, courtesy, and consideration since he entered this house have been a great help in a trying time. I doubt that a real doctor could have done more.
Thank you, Mrs. Chandler.
I'll be proud to repeat that at any time and place you think it will help.
Well, I don't know how much it'll help, but the judge will be glad to listen.
Good gracious. Now, where do you suppose that came from?
Miss it when he opened that safe.
That's the point, isn't it? Funny thing, Mrs. Chandler told the police about it the next day. There was exactly $833 in the pile.
Wasn't that the amount that Doc took from the safe he robbed earlier that night?
Quite a coincidence.
Coincidence, my eye. He put it there the last time he closed the safe. Was Doc blamed for Mr. Chandler's death?
No, as Chandler died without a physician in attendance, the law required an autopsy. The result was that Chandler died of a brain hemorrhage.
How long a sentence did Doc get for safe cracking?
10 years. That means he'll be out in 7 years.
Do you think that Doc and Mrs. Chandler will get together when he's free?
I don't know, Mrs. Hall. I never thought about it.
Why not?
Well, who can tell what'll happen after 7 years? Mrs. Chandler might meet a man and fall in love. As for the doc, how do we know how he'll feel after 7 years in jail? You know, it's easy to talk about the past and to keep abreast of the present, but nobody can predict the future. For example, you're about 5 feet from that window. Take about 5 seconds to get there. Yet right now, you can't tell what's on the other side.
That's a man's logic. After listening to your story, I know exactly how Mrs. Chandler felt. And whether I can predict the future or not, Mr. O. Henry, I know that she'll wait for him, and when he's free, they'll be married.
You may be right, Mrs. Hall. You may be very right.
Of course I'm right.